Now we're drifting off from a talk about tattoo convention into rules, because as I mentioned, there's these rules. Hygiene, like you have to have a hygiene course, and there's different rules in different countries. What do you think, how they should be made and who should be involved? Because in Latvia it's pretty good, because that association where you are part of, they getting involved and they are big tattooists. But for example, in other countries, the associations pop up like left and right. For example, in Denmark, there's that one association where the lead person is sort of business savvy and it's always connected to some affiliation, so you feel that sales through the association, but at least there's something done. And then there's another association which is older. Their vibe is kind of like, oh, those guys are dicks, we were here before, but they haven't done anything. There's not alternative hygiene course, nothing gets pushed forward. It's just more like, yeah, we talked with government, here's an update, but that update you can kind of read on a newspaper as well.
In our country, there were also some weird ideas coming out, and tattooers reacted really quickly. From our shop, the co-owner, manager, he decided to make, what do you call it, like a group of people, of tattooers, yeah.
Union type of.
Yeah, union. So he asked the best tattooers in Riga to be part of it. So they decided what is good, what is bad. They met these people who wanted to make rules, and the tattooers just stand up for their ideas. They said, dude, like, this is not how it works. We've been doing this for many years and we know what's what, and you cannot compare this tattooing to other nail polishing or hairdresser stuff. Yeah, I mean, slowly we are moving somewhere, but there is I would say government wants to do some regulation and we just say yes or no, and
yeah,
it's going slowly. It's not that crazy like you have.
Unfortunately, that hygiene course that you have, it's not run by the best shop, it's run by a shop.
Hygiene course, I don't think it's like, it's not run by the shop.
I think it was something to do with some very commercial shop. Or maybe there's few now, but yeah, here in Denmark now there's just one and there's no alternatives and you have to have it and it's by law, so that kind of sucks that it's, yeah, when it comes to talking shit, everyone is smart, but when it comes to doing stuff,
yeah,
I like the approach in Latvia where it's the serious people get together.
Yeah, there were really big arguments from beginning, so we had to actually tell them really strictly what's what, because they didn't have any clue. They wanted to do these courses for like a month long, or something. It's like, what the fuck you're gonna learn? Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna learn there?
Like
so we explained to them that usually, I mean, every shop, you cannot learn, you cannot teach art as itself to everyone. The tattooer has to come to the shop and just be part of it and slowly grow with the shop, with the other tattooers. If we talk about hygiene, it's cool that they make some rules, but if these people want to make rules about every tattooer has to have a certificate as a professional tattooer from a school, like, that's scary,
Oh yeah, there was that thing in States somewhere where you can't, otherwise, like, you have to go to tattoo school and you have to have like something like 50 hours of tattooing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, shit, fucking crazy.
I hope that hygiene course will be one time, because we already went to one. That doesn't count anymore. If this will be like a regular thing, it's like, come on, man. Also, you have to pay just for the health and safety for the sanitary checkup every year, and it's like 5,500 kroner. That's like, I don't know, 700-800 euros every year. I just have to pay, so they can come and check and say yes or no. And then there's hygiene course.
You do it once and then you wait for how long to redo it, the course?
No, the course, I hope it's gonna be just once. But the
we have once every 5 years for now. And then it's 200 euros.
Yeah, here I think it's 3,500 krona. That's like 450 euros.
I don't know what's the new stuff, what my guys are doing there and coming up with some new ideas, but I heard that if the tattooer has, let's say, 8 years experience, he has not so much shit to do. You don't have to make some papers. No, how do you say it? You don't have to go to course that much as a person who just started it.
I heard in States there's also this kind of yearly, like a bloodborne pathogen course where you have to click through, like it's an online thing where you have to click through what's up and what's good and what's bad. It kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make sense when it gets so expensive. This year I called that institution up because my shop was open year before when it was lockdown, and they told me that it's so expensive because they have to come and check. I called them up, was like, can you give me a break because there's a COVID? They're like, no, then you have to close the shop and close the business because like it's so expensive to come, and at the same time they can't even come because it's COVID. So like, you know, I pay for something that will happen maybe in a half year, maybe will not happen if there's another lockdown. You know, for maybe a big shop, that checkup, you know, like if you have 20 artists working, like that's nothing. But for a small place, it's a bit like you just spend, I don't know, quite a bit.
That's crazy, man. No one says that this will be the end of the rule. Yeah, the final rule. Because so
yeah, I like the idea in England where you pay shop pays, but it wasn't crazy amount. You just pay kind of one-time fee. They come in, they're like, okay, your doors are open in correct side, you know, your floor is fine, you can have a tattoo shop here, that's it. And then tattooists pay to get a license in the area, something like, I don't know, £80, and they come in, check you once. If it's fine, you can work in that area. It's just like funny because if you move even within London from one area to another, they're like, no, you have to have a new thing. But I, mean, I don't know, probably prices are bigger now, but that's when I was there.
It's interesting. Like, one thing is to make these rules, but who's checking? Because I heard in Germany there is some shops where they get checked pretty often, and then there is some shops in other cities where they don't get checked at all. You know, it's like, I mean, you still have these rules and you still have to go to courses and everything, but some shops get away with it and some doesn't, and some cities more.
Maybe it depends on area how many people they have working in that institution. Here it's also like you just apply for it and then they'll let you know when they come in, because there's not that many of them working, so there's like few people for all Denmark, so they have to plan
we have the
things.
same, yeah.
And they check everything, like they check like restaurants, they check cafes, they check, I don't know, hairdressers and tattooists, so they have to plan that thing.
Yeah, once a year. They might come.
Here at least, here they send you an email, they're like, we will show up on that day, please book a time for that thing.
These please hide colors.
Yeah, in some countries it's like they just appear and they can come and check you any
That's
moment.
Fucked up, yeah. I heard in Latvia it's the same, but everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, you know a guy who can tell you.
Yeah.
On tattoo inks, on most of them, the opening time, like once it's open, it can stay open 1 year. In Denmark, it's half a year, and they just decided it. And when tattooists were asking about like why it's like that, they said they looked on kind of how medical liquids can be opened, and they kind of put it in a way that you got it lucky that you got half year. It could have even been less. Everyone suddenly would become a black and gray tattooist. And now there was some new thing that something about blue and green ink, like there's something in that pigment that's, I don't know, something that shouldn't be in there, and they want to ban at all green and blue. I don't know how serious that is, but it's like, come on, man. It's like,
man, that people gonna make pigments at home, man. I mean, they did
but
that
like
shit.
You know, I got blue and green and bleen.
There's so much blues, like different variations. You think every blue has fucking the same shit in it? I don't know. I'm not an expert in this shit, but I also have lots of blue on me.
No, but it sounds like, you know, like somebody found that there's like
one blue has something.
No, like uranium in tobacco.
Yeah.
But it's as much uranium as it's inside my body. You know, it's just because it's a scary name and it's there doesn't mean that it's any danger of it.
Do you know what happened with the carbon gray wash ink? They don't make these colors anymore. I heard this story. I don't know. Like, you cannot buy in Latvia anymore, and
I think they are still here on sale. You can still buy it, and it's fine. I heard that there was once something with the solid ink that they recalled all batch, and it was because it was in some truck that was left out in the sun due to heat, and something bad happened, but it was that batch and it was inappropriately like stored and something like that.
I am not a big fan of solid ink. Solid ink is super harmful to the skin because it's hard to put it in. For me, I don't know.
I think in Latvia you can't buy dynamic as a tattoo ink. It's like art ink, you know. There's those weird regulations.
No, I mean we have a tattoo supply store and we buy dynamic in there.
Yeah, but is it sold as dynamic or it's sold as what you use it for painting?
No, it's sold as a tattoo ink. I mean, it's in a tattoo supply store.
No, but you can also buy marker in a tattoo supply store.
It sells like a color. I don't know. It says I don't know, man. They put them in the stand where all colors are at. But maybe they changed the name.
There was that other brand. They have those fat bottles. I forgot what it's called. Everyone was using them. It was also kind of in many countries. It was just like sold as art supply.
Yeah. There was a lot of iron in it. I remember what it was named.
They had those simple, short, chunky bottles. So
Indiana ink. That's probably different.
But that's a proper art ink,
Yeah.
Indian ink, and but it's crazy. Yeah, and I heard that there's some associations where people kind of like tattooists say about that tattoo association in their country. They're like, oh, that's a joke. Like they do nothing. It's like, come on.
But this is what happened. There were some random guys started making rules, you know. Usually these big tattooers, they don't want to be part of these things. They're like, oh, I'm fine with where am I? But this shit is happening.
Yeah, but that's the problem. And then the tattoo schools come up and all that. Like, I
Yeah.
think tattoo school, like, I'm not advocating for tattoo school, but let's say those people who were good tattooists and they reach that age where they cannot tattoo anymore. Why wouldn't they teach then, you know? Like, they're like...
They
you know,
do that. They take apprentices and teach them. I don't think this profession is that crazy that 100 people's gonna get lesson by one guy, you know.
Well, look at even Latvia, which is what, 2 million people country.
Yeah.
And they have full course of that tattoo school that they have there, and it's like 10 people, and they have every couple months 10 people coming in, 10 people coming in.
We had today one guy who came from this course, showed his portfolio. I mean, he's pretty good for a beginner. That's what they do. They finish the course, they have a paper, and then they walk around the shops, and some shops gonna take them, some not, but not for everyone's gonna have a work.
Yeah, but you know, like...
They start tattooing at home.
You started tattooing at home without school, and your friends were cool with it. They're like, cool, I get a tattoo. If you tell your friends, I tattoo at home, and I had a school, everyone will be like... That's my man.
It's just,
Like-
I mean, for some it probably helps. People put tattooing in the same category as, I don't know, when you finish art school, you have a profession, you're a designer or whatever. It's not the same thing, you know. You look at these people who make fucking wooden tables, you know. A lot of them don't fucking go to schools and get certificate. They get taught by a fucking master.
Then you see ladies who finish courses and just do those fucked up eyebrows, you know, and they're like, yeah, I had a 2-week thing.
Yeah, one thing is you get courses, but other thing is who's teaching you, you know?
That comparison, like you finished model school, you got a paper that you finished model school. It doesn't make you whatever. Maybe you know how to walk on a stage, but if you don't fit the criteria, you don't fit the criteria, you know?
Like best advice is you cannot learn tattooing in 1 month, and these schools, what they show you some basics that you can see on YouTube pretty much these days. You don't learn anything much about it because tattooing you have to work with people and see how it goes, you know.
I've noticed that good tattooists with years of experience, people are mostly critical about their own work, and they're like, fuck, you know, they're like, oh, this little corner, or like this and that, and I'm super critical about my own stuff. And I think if you just do bullshit and you like super happy because your friends press likes on your Instagram, that's attitude problems in it, you know.
I mean, this is like a lot, like I like what old tattooers say, you know, like these old legends. It's like a lifestyle to you, you know. You cannot learn this in 1 month. You have to find a proper shop teacher for you. Maybe you don't want to do traditional tattooing. Maybe you want to do something else, and you have to find this place where you belong, you know. And it's not for everyone. There's some people who want to become a tattooer, and maybe it's not for them, you know. From beginning, it sounds really romantic. I want to be a tattooer. But when you see how much work you have to put in, and I've been tattooing for almost 10 years now, and I still search for things to learn more and more, you know.
And also that hygiene part, like you said, it's also part of the thing. It's not like you just did a pretty picture, slapped it on the skin. You have to make sure that nobody dies and all that. And yeah, that's where those worlds meet, and people start to make regulations, and sometimes wrong people start to make them, and that's where money has been made on that side, and that's kind of and it's just fucking frustrating when you don't know.
Yeah.
When you don't know what's right and who's more right, and you're just like, give me a break. Like, I went to one course, and it turns out it's a wrong course. I did that, then it's different, you know, and
it's almost like my generation tattooers, even a little bit back, like Jansis, for example. I mean, I want to mention his name in this specific moment. He's been tattooing for 16 years now. He has a shop. He's an amazing tattooer, one of the best in Latvia. He also did these courses from beginning. Someone told him, "Oh, go and try." He made a paper. He didn't learn anything. He already knew what the guy was teaching him.
He said he got some points out of it.
Some points, yeah, for sure.
But it was just you are unsure when you become legit. So you're like, okay, I've done this many tattoos. I know everything I could learn, and then you're like, well, if people say I have to do it, I'll do it, you know. But back then there wasn't even anyone to ask.
Yeah, no YouTube stories. So like he's one of the examples that I would say he's super special, that he went through all these years and actually ended up where he is now. Because like his input was, he wanted to learn so bad that he was doing research, you know, properly, and searching for a style that he likes and whatnot. It's not just a certificate, and it's that's not even start of it, you know.
But he even said that that guy said you can print your own certificate and it will be as good.
Exactly. So I've been thinking maybe I should open a school one day. How to print out the paper.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I have all those papers from the courses I have on a wall, but it's more like all that piercing and body mod related stuff.
It feels so good, right? It feels so good when it's there.
No, people like it. They're like, oh, I see you know a lot of stuff. And I always say like, yeah, you can buy these things on Amazon pretty cheap. And they're like, what?
I mean, you know, this is, if a guy want to open his shop, he's no experience and he has this certificate, it's probably going to help a bit, you know. People not going to be that scared.
With those convention prizes, when people are like, are you good? I'm just like, there's a proof we won convention. It's a award-winning shop.
Yeah, exactly. There is, for every customer, there is an option. Maybe one guy wants a beautiful old-school eagle. Go search for it. There is probably one guy in town who can do it properly. And then there is some people who want simple line work. You can also find that somewhere.
Yeah, that artistic side is kind of tough to judge and tough to talk about, because there's so many styles now. There's all this like ignorant style where you like, I don't know, and people like it, and I'm like,
as long as
like that, I'll do it like that.
Exactly, as long as it works, you know. And not every tattooer has to be like crazy in Japanese, you know, or know all the stories. And like in old days, some tattooers, that's their job. They do a tattoo for a customer who wants a specific tattoo, you know.
I talked with some people like who do just black and gray. Like they would put maybe a bit of blue in a tiger's eye or something like that, and they're like, oh, I don't know how to do colors. Like it was put on like, oh, I heard you have to do them like from darker to lighter, and I was like, how do you not even know that? Like, how do you operate? Like, but they're like, I just do realistic, and it's basically like just what you can find out on internet, print out, and all that. Still a skill to do it, but it's just
for sure.
Okay, we steered off in a different direction, so let's wrap this episode up. How do you judge what's necessary, what certificates, hygiene, art? Who should make those rules, and how should customer know what's best for them? Leave a comment down below. We'll let Carlos to do his thing. See you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.